Okay, go.
Dear you.
Dear you.
Dear you.
Dear you.
Whenever you're ready, you can open the letter and start reading it.
Dear you.
If you're even listening,
If you even care.
If you even know.
When I first met you, I was just 14 years old. You looked at me as if I was all you could see. I still remember you at my high school social, a gentleman, well-spoken, giving me your blazer when I was cold. You made me feel adored and appreciated. On our first date, you walked around with me like I was your queen, never taking advantage, asking before you even held my hand. You never let me pay, and honestly, I fell so fast just by having someone treat me as well as you did. At that age, what girl wouldn't have? You always complimented the way I dressed and put me up on a pedestal, boosting my self-esteem, turning a shy me into a confident woman. You made me feel so comfortable, and you gained all my trust so fast. I was in love with you.
I loved you so much. Let's just keep this factual and to the point. I loved you. We met in high school, and you were already my favorite thought, companion, escape, and best friend. You were so good. People would always comment on how I found myself a good one, and I was so proud.
For the longest time, I liked to believe that men were hurt and misunderstood individuals because of maybe not having the right figures to look up to. I always thought my ability to nurture could soften a man. Not until I really wanted to have honest fun with my friends on a night out did that change.
why would he sit here? I thought, as he sparked a conversation with me. Man, you were inquisitive, and just the smile I needed on that sunny morning. You personified sunshine that day. You brightened up day, and that's why without hesitation, I gave you my number. Maybe God was angry on that day. Maybe the angels were crying, because they were already mourning how you and I would end, foreshadowing. You wanted to kiss me, and have me in your arms while I spoke about my passions and dreams and stuff that made my face light up. You were different. You wanted me for my mind, my spirit, my love for life, my strength. You wanted my soul. You wanted my heart. You wanted my love.
Things changed drastically a few years down the line. I guess I ignored all the small telltales of how you would ignore me. And yes, I've said it before, the silent treatment is abuse. Grow the fuck up. Anyway, you fucked a bunch of people and I grew to hate you, but still, I believed there was hope. The once so good man was literally disappearing in front of my eyes. So I closed them because I didn't want to see you go. I woke up with bruises, pains in my chest, a stiff neck, and I guess that means you went out drinking, or I did and you didn't like it.
I was so naive and gullible that I believed every word that came out your mouth was true. Looking back and putting the dots together, I realized you stalked me. You would know where I was at random times of the day and would call me asking where I was, who I was with, so you could ensure that I wasn't lying. You stalked my brother and some of my friends online. You changed and went into a dark place. You called me and said, I was the reason you wanted to jump off the bridge, and you were going to mention that in your suicide note, and you were going to mention that in your suicide note, so your whole family could know the person who killed their son. Again, I was the reason for all your problems. You lied and gaslighted so often, I thought I was going crazy. We were addicted to each other. The highs were so great that we kept wanting more of each other, despite knowing how toxic we were for each other, and when the lows came, it was earth-shattering.
The way you felt about me began to turn into you being possessive. I never minded being yours. That was all I wanted to be. I never would have cheated or given you a reason to be insecure. I didn't understand how you made me feel so good about myself at the beginning, but soon after, the way I dressed was too revealing, and I was called a slut for wearing a dress that was too short. You manipulated me into believing that participating in sexual acts was what you needed, and I didn't have to feel guilty because you'd marry me one day. So taking my virginity in a bathroom, when I was only in grade 9 and not ready, was just as special as doing it on a bed with candles and rose petals because you loved me and that was all that mattered.
It's something I've suppressed for the longest of times, but creeps up to remind me not to trust men because of how carnal they can be. My choice to wear something that would show my upper thighs, surely not an invite to penetrate me with your grimy fingers, unprovoked. The most disrespect I've received from men is the catcalling, but even that took few years to learn how to muffle out the noise, but this I can't. I don't think I ever will. How the women you were with defended you was what hurt me the most, because they asked me what happened acting like they care, only for them to throw drinks at me later and call me a liar.
You pushed me, grabbed me by my hair, and started dragging me across the room. I was trying to fight back. You know my small frame could not even exert the same amount of force that you were exerting on my body. I was trying not to scream too loudly because the girl who still had feelings for you didn't want the neighbors to call the police. I was still protecting you even after you pushed me so hard. I banged my head against the wall. I stood up and spoke the truth you hate to hear. I'm not your mom. You pushed me and pinched me against the wall, and in a flash you were on top of me with your hands tightly clutched at my throat. It felt like eternity. I was struggling for air, and the thought of that came to my head was, wow, you dumb bitch, what are you doing here? Everybody told you he was crazy. You kept the grip around my neck for so long, I couldn't even fight back anymore. You eventually let go and pushed me to the floor like a piece of shit. I summoned up the little strength I had left and slapped you. Then you slapped me so hard, the area under my right eye was swollen. My lip busted as well, and you left marks on my neck as well.
I wanted to have the best nights with my friends, with no disruption from boys. You really pulled a number on me because you got away with it. I felt completely naked after you did that to me. I felt easy and loose. I thought if you could do that without scum, then who the fuck am I to even argue with you? Because surely I looked like a flozzy.
Sat across from dinner with your parents and tried to swallow the lunch, and somehow managed to swallow the words I wanted to tell them about their son too. I don't really know why you did it, and the angry in you seemed to grow even more when I finally left you. The pushing, the kicking, the hitting. You pathetic little boy throwing a temper tantrum on a woman's body.
During VAC last year, I was so ill, all my lymph nodes on my body started to swell up, and one in my groin area ruptured. You came home every day, from the early morning till late in the evening, to visit me and help me, even though all we could do was stay in bed, because of me being unable to get out of bed. I appreciated that so much. I felt loved and cared for, considering you spent all your free time taking care of me, and never leaving my house. But one day we were alone, and you kissed me sort of aggressively, implying you wanted more. In the condition I was in, there was no way I would have been able to. When I said no, you left the room angrily. I didn't understand. You came back in telling me that you don't believe that I am sick, and my lymph nodes ruptured. You thought I have just been sleeping around at university and now I have an STD, and I was afraid that you would get it. I cried because that wasn't true, and I was so used to just agreeing that yes, I am lying and you are right, but this time I was angry. I told you that I could try if it made you feel better, but if I hurt, we can't. You kissed me, but not in a loving way. When you got on top of me, I hurt. You didn't stop. I cried and bled. Said no. But I was in too much pain to push you off. I felt empty, and like all the trust I had was gone. I felt as though I had been reduced to nothing. But you smiled and told me that you loved me, and thanked me for making you feel better.
The opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. I have no hate for you. In fact, I feel sorry for you. There are days when I want you to feel the trauma you left me with. I don't know how I feel about you anymore. I'm indifferent. I don't care anymore. I just hate the fact that you just failed to understand the trauma you left me with.
Then again, my sexual body count shouldn't determine my being harassed, especially by a stranger. If I could, I'll tell you, I wish I could amputate both your hands because of how you groped me and burn your fingers first, before you do that to any girl who'd probably a decade younger than you.
If I could say one thing to you now, it would be that I hate you. I have come a long way, and sometimes I think I forgive you for putting me through 6 years of shit and calling it love, but I won't ever forgive you. I don't wish the worst upon your life, but I hope you realize what a cold soul you have, and I pray you don't try to ever convince someone you are worth loving again.
I hope you look at yourself and see the word abuser in the back of your mind, because that is all you ever achieved.
How did the letter make you feel? Like, it's too much, bro.
I think, yeah, man, it was highly emotive.
Very emotional. It's quite tense when you're sort of reading from the victim's perspective, and like knowing the connotations of I found myself a good one, and how it lets someone's guard down in terms of like them now having that trust that, you know, I'm with a good one.
I'm really shocked, to be honest. I wasn't expecting something like this. You don't often see something. I mean, I actually, first of all, just want to thank the person who wrote this and say to whoever it is that I believe them.
What would you say to the girl who wrote that letter?
Who wrote the letter?
The woman who wrote that letter.
I'm glad that you found your strength. I'm proud of you for you know, for taking the lessons that you've learned and passing them on to other people, because like vulnerability is strength.
I mean, it's always brave to speak about these things, but to go into that much detail was really brave.
Just commend them on their bravery. It does not sound like it was easy from just reading it.
The thing is, I have a lot of things I'd like to say to the person who wrote the letter, but like I feel like, you know, especially coming from the position that I am, of you know, having, you know, my existential narrative of being a man, it's not gonna be enough. If anything, it'll be comical if I say I'm sorry. It'll be funny, you know what I mean? Because she's like, dude, if I was a person who was going through this and the man was like to me, yo, dude, I'm sorry I had to go through that, it just feels like, you know, it's not enough. It's minute to the gravity of the situation.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the perpetrator that she is referring to?
So my sister's going through this.
To my sister's going through this.
To my sister's going through this.
To my sisters going through this.
If it's possible to deal with your perpetrator, if they aren't a stranger, don't rest until you do. The longer we let this go on, the more we pray and not soldiers about the boundaries of our bodies.
Gotta do better. If I'm being 100%, yeah.
You may feel silenced, betrayed, as if it is your fault, empty, or you may just want to give up entirely, but I promise you there is a way out. You may take a long time to heal, but you will. You may think you are worthless, but I respect you for waking up each day and trying. You are more than what they made you feel. You are strong, you are loved, I will always believe you.
My guy, you need to get some help. Get taught how to treat women properly. Yeah, there's no excuse for violence. Whatever, if you're drunk, not drunk, whatever it is, just sort your issues out and like get some help.
It may feel like he took a part of you, but remember, put yourself first. Healing is not linear. nor does it happen over a short period. You need to understand that you are your strength. Nobody can take anything from you unless you give them the satisfaction of having it from you. You can't allow him to have a hold over you. You can't let a single moment of a poorly raised animal to define your strength. You are stronger for surviving it and letting go of him. I'm really sorry you had to go through that. I hope you take time to heal the scar, accept what happened, and understand it had nothing to do with you.
Know what you were trying to do, like how you were trying to make yourself feel out of this. But I think that some people in your shoes do what they do because they want to feel like more of a man. And I can assure you, you're not more of a man for this. Anything but.
Sorry they are so weak they need to hurt you. I believe you and I understand why you haven't left yet. But when you do feel so strong, and you will practice self-love, and I can't wait for that journey to start for you.
Fuck you, dog. Fuck you. Fuck you, dog.